So today we're going to show the difference between two USB chargers. One cheap, no-name brand that you might pick up at a convenience store or a junk bin at a local electronics place for, anywhere from $3 to $10. You can see made in China. And one that you might find at a reputable store made by General Electric. This one is made in China as well, but again, you may pay a little bit more, and it's a kind of a brand name. So this one right here has two markings on it. It says it's marked 1 amp for other devices and 2.1 amps for like an iPad or a high current device, maybe a tablet or something. So we want to find out if this USB adapter is putting out the current it says it is. So let's find out. So we have this little cable right here, and what that cable goes to, it's a USB on this end, and we'll go ahead and plug it in. We'll plug it into the 1 amp port first, and what it does is that cord is connected over here to an electronic load. And what that does is that puts a load on the USB charger. I'm going to move this light out of the way so you can see that a little better. It puts a load on that USB charger and simulates maybe a cell phone or a tablet that's drawing current from the USB charger and needs it to charge the battery. So if this USB charger is putting out what it's rated at, then we should be able to draw at least 1 amp from it, and the voltage here should stay close to 5 volts, which is the USB voltage. So we're going to go ahead and turn up the load slowly here, and we're going to see at what point this voltage drops pretty low, or to where it no longer supports the USB voltage or the load voltage. So there's 100 milliamps, 200 milliamps. You see the voltage is 5.2, so that's still good. 300 milliamps. Now remember, this should get at least to 1 amp according to what's stamped on it. And this voltage should still be in the 5 volt range. So we're going to keep cranking it up, keep cranking it up. Now this is 500 milliamps, and this is what your standard USB 1 voltage would be from a computer port. And we're still at 5.3 volts. So that looks good. We're going to go up to 600 milliamps. Oop, man, the voltage dropped off pretty big there. It dropped from 5 down to about 4.6. So let's keep going here. Whoa, yeah, that's just dropped off. So this supply that's supposed to put out 1 amp can barely put out maybe 600 milliamps before the voltage drops off. So that was the 1 amp port. So let's go ahead and plug it in. Let's go ahead and crank these back down. Let's plug it into the 2.1 amp port that was marked on there for iPads. So let's see, maybe that port will supply enough current. So we're going to go ahead and crank up the current here, the load. And we're up to 100 milliamp, 200 milliamps, 300 milliamps, 400 milliamps, 500 milliamps, 600 milliamps. Whoa, there goes the voltage. So yeah, it dropped about in the same place as the other port. So it looks like both of the ports on this adapter are connected to the same thing. There's no difference in those ports, even though they're marked differently. So we're going to go ahead now and we'll check the GE branded adapter. Now it has 2 ports as well, but they're not marked. So I imagine they're going to be, each one of those is going to be the same, or 2.1 amps of current at 5 volts. So we have that plugged in there. Let's go look at our voltage over here on the load. Alright, so as you can see, we have 4.9 volts. Anything close to that is all right. So you'd like to see 5, but 4.9 isn't bad. Let me wiggle this connector, make sure we get a good connection in here. All right. So now let's go ahead and crank up the load slowly on this one. So 3, 7, 8, 900. We're still at 4.8. That's not bad. So we're at 1 amp. We're still at 4.8. Well, 4.9. So it's still holding. 1.2, 1.3. Still 4.8. It's still holding. Let's keep going here. 1.4, 1.6, 4.7. I mean, 4.8 is still not dropping off drastically. 1.8 amps, 1.9, 2 amps, and we're still at 4.9 volts, so it's still holding pretty good. Then we'll go, let's see, we'll go to 2.1. 2.1 and 4.8, 4.9, so it's still holding, so that's pretty good. Let's see if we can get it to drop off. 2.2, it's still holding pretty good. 2.3, up, there it goes. It dropped off about 2.4, 2.3. Maybe 2.4 is about all I can do. All right, so let's go ahead and try the other port. So I'm just going to leave it at its rated 2.1 amps there. I'm going to move it to the other port. So there's 0. And there we go. And sure enough, both those ports are 4.95 volts at 2.1 amps. So that is a good USB power adapter. And that is the difference between the one you pay maybe $15 for and the one you pay anywhere from maybe $3 to $5 for. So you can't always trust what's stamped on them.